So now the fun part, which is breaking this bolt. Oh fuck, which way is it tightened? Probably clockwise. So put it in a position where you think... Oh my god, that was easy. It's never been that easy to undo. So now, like I said, we're just switching over the harness. I am holding on to the ground screw, which goes right here. So I am just kind of finger back into place.
So.
Oh, and that's when the steering wheel locks. Very interesting. Alright, now the fun part, which is tightening the bolt. And by fun, I mean horrible. Now they say like 52 foot-pounds, so basically whenever you can't stop turning. Oh yeah, and let's not forget to plug in the steering wheel buttons. And then of course the lovely airbag, which I think we all want installed in our vehicles. And you don't need to wrench it, but it just kind of makes life easier. And just kind of... There. And that's all it really needs, just enough. It finally happened. We finally got the M3 wheel, and boy is it gorgeous. I just love holding it. I love looking at it, and it's just such a tremendous upgrade over the piece of shit I had previously. So I got this wheel wrapped from Redline Goods, and if you want to find out more about that story, I'm doing a whole other video about it, but I placed the order for a wheel 3 or 4 months ago, and now is when I'm getting it, so that's okay. But what we have here is we have an M3 steering wheel wrapped with the middle being perforated nappa leather. And of course you saw my previous video of me refinishing the bottom trim with these buttons. So all together it looks like a brand new wheel. It looks stupid good. The first thing I noticed is the thickness of this wheel. It's much thicker than the standard non-M wheel. And for me, which I have bigger hands, there are people with even bigger hands, but I have decently large hands. The larger thickness definitely makes me feel more agile in this car. When I first installed this wheel and first started driving around, I felt like I had more control, and I even had the impression that the steering wheel was lighter. But after a couple days with the wheel, I've noticed that's just because I can grip it better, so I feel like I have more control. Well, I don't feel like I do, I definitely have more control now. So that's the first thing. The second thing is obviously the quality. Over the previous wheel that was tearing and ripping, this is definitely a substantial upgrade. I've never had the luxury of having a new car, and this definitely gives me, not necessarily a preview, but it's just nice to have something new, and it's something I touch every day. You can't go wrong with getting a new steering wheel because, as I just said, you touch it every day, so you will always notice this modification. I mean, there's not much else to say about this wheel, aside from how much it cost. So, this was not made in Europe or anything. The wrap itself was made in Denmark, and then the wheel is manufactured in North Carolina. Okay, this person can't drive. And so between when this was created and when I got it, probably 3 weeks to a month have passed in between. So it wasn't the most fun way, but when it came, it was most certainly worth the wait. So I'll be honest, it smells It smells kind of bad, but I'm sure that'll go away. It's brand new fabrics, so it's not the craziest thing in the world to have a brand new smell. The other thing I've noticed is that the quality isn't necessarily up to par as what you'd find for more money. If you option this outright, it would cost you around $380-ish out the door, which when you think about it isn't bad, but you already have to have the existing wheel. For around $120 more, you can buy the wheel pre-wrapped from Europe in arguably better quality. And when I say better quality, there's just very few nitpicky things. They don't bother me, but they may bother someone else. The first thing is right where the steering wheel buttons are. There's an edge on the left side, and on the right side it just looks kind of sloppy. There's some obvious kind of warping or something. I'm not sure what the term would be, but it kind of bunches together towards the end. And the same deal kind of at the bottom. It kind of bunches a little bit. That's like a very minute thing. The most notable difference, I'd say, is the perforated leather. It doesn't look like what you'd find on a normal perforated leather wheel. Typically on perforated nappa leather, you notice that the holes, they kind of bend inward on the surface. I don't know if that's just from it being regularly used, but I've seen European wheels on eBay that don't have the same artifacts. These look like they were just directly punched. They're a bit just harsh, but again, that's just another minor thing. It's really hard to complain. This wheel looks fantastic, and even if I wasn't upgrading from that crummy wheel, it just looks great. I mean, with the trim redone and the wheels been redone, very minor buckling. So overall, you could call me satisfied with this wheel. So I've had the wheel for a few days now. I'm not seeing any issues aside from those minor quality things. Oh yeah, another issue is Another issue is that on the back of the bottom spoke, you can kind of feel a rough edge where the leather is. Overall, the quality is very good, but it just feels like they didn't really know where the edges were supposed to line up, or perhaps their fabric is thicker, so there are some rough edges. I'm not sure if that would be the same deal if you bought a wheel from Europe, but that's the case with this wheel. Alright you guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Thanks for tuning in. I'm sorry it's been so long, as you can tell by my facial hair and my head hair. It's been a long time since I've been recording. I had some personal stuff to take care of, but much more content is coming your way. Don't you guys worry, I'm actually on my way to do another video right now, and I'll see you guys in the next one.